Hey everybody, just wanted to provide this quick video. So I saw in the Golf Bells Facebook group that there may be some new maps coming to everybody. It looks like right now they may only be launched on a couple different servers to some select Android players. But I just really want to thank Nick for uploading this, and I'll kind of go through my thoughts and opinions on kind of what we're seeing on these maps. So this first hole right here, it looks like potentially 3 is kind of what you're going to want to aim for, definitely with 1. So where he started over here, let's see if he'll come back and we can look at it. So you start over on the left. It looks like maybe there is a play somewhere on the left over there, kind of to the cobblestone that we see on the right, where you could get it to the hole in 1 or 2. That may be more an advanced technique. Definitely looks like you want to yellow it over here, and then where he's aiming right now, you'll want to mid-red it into these little grooves right here. And then this will give you a good area to mark into the hole. And what I've seen from these maps is, so kind of like on other maps when you're dealing with sand, ice, water, and wind, it looks like kind of the map difficulty that we're going to have to learn on here is dealing with height and some holes that we normally, some shots that on other maps that we considered more like trick shots are going to be kind of the standard. So like banking it off corners, playing off heights, some tricky ramp jumps. So it'll be very interesting to see. So this one has to deal with height, and it definitely looks like a hole-in-one hole, but it doesn't look like you can make it with a normal power, normal ball with 1 power. You may be able to make it if you have the Fox, if you apply some backspin, because that'll send the ball out a little bit further. But I think definitely the safer play when you're starting out with 1 power is go over here where he's going to go to the right. Not that one, this next one right here. And then just full power, bank it off this wall, and then land you here. And then somewhere you're going to want to find to land it up here. Looks like a mid-yellow may be pretty good to get it. And then you'll want to find the position where now you're going to max power it and land it off this cobblestone tee in the back. And that hopefully should give you the 3, probably guarantee you the 4 pretty consistently. And that appears to be the safe play, but there's so many different areas on this hole, I haven't even seen it all, and there may be some other more consistent play. But now we're going back to that first hole that we saw. So if we go back here and we kind of just look at it, so this will give you a kind of different perspective on the hole and potentially how we'd approach it with a higher power club or a different legendary ball. So let's just kind of pause it once we get there. Okay. See if I can get, he doesn't move his screen a lot, so it's kind of hard to see. So it looks like from the starting position there may be some sort of way in order to get it into that cobblestone kind of little gap on the left. It may be really tricky and hard. I'm not sure if you could maybe just slightly get it up this ramp without it falling back, apply some backspin with the fox ball, and maybe that'll get you to the hole in 2. But definitely consistently, it looks like yellowing it over here. You may be able to kind of slant it to the right and get it to the hole, but I think consistently you'd probably just want to then red it over here, figure out the angles and to get to this archway. And then you'll want to aim it far right of the hole. So I'd probably aim where the brown is on the cobblestone right of the hole, and that will probably give you enough curve. Probably using like a mid-red. That should get you into the hole without having to deal with all these other bounces and curves. It should just bounce pretty flat and go into the hole. These maps definitely look like there's a high potential for people that enjoy making videos to dunk it into the hole. So that should be pretty interesting content for some people to make. And so we're going into this next hole. And this one is very interesting. So if we kind of go back to look at the fade into the hole. So there's a couple things that I've noticed. So we start here. So this platform right here in front of the hole, so it looks like this may or may not be very handy and consistent. So the way that I think that you're probably going to get to this map is when you start here, is knowing how much power you're going to have to use in order to bounce it to just get over this lip. So I'll pause it when we get there. So landing it right somewhere in here, This should give you a good position. Then you can kind of see how that area on the right that we were just looking at during the pan of the hole, you can kind of hit it into there, and maybe that'll bounce it into the hole for a 2. Or from here, you can just bounce it, land it here, then try to get a dunk into the hole. The dunk looks very risky because there's nothing behind the hole if you use too much power, and if you use too little power, there's also a hole too. So I think definitely landing it here could be definitely a good safe spot. But from here, I wouldn't lay it up kind of what he does. I would kind of see what full power does, bouncing it off the cobblestone wall to the left. And that could probably consistently give you a 3 every now and then, potentially give you a 2, depending if the 1 power has enough to get there. Probably a 4 power would be enough to maybe get it into the hole. But it looks like there's a couple cool different ways that you could potentially play this hole, and I'm excited to definitely get my hands on it and try it out. Say Benjamin, as we were talking about earlier, he tried from up top, but he used too much power and went over the hole. And then this shootout map looks really cool. So there's so many different ways you can go. So you can go straight. You can kind of see how there's a hole in the gap straight in front of them. And that could maybe ramp you into the hole as well. There's a couple spots over there that you could potentially bounce it off. I don't think that would probably be as consistent as some of these other spots on this left side that he's going to look at. So there's that cobblestone wall. You can kind of hit off that. I don't really know what's down there and how it would bounce, but maybe that would be an option as well. It kind of looks like there's also an option where you can hit it off this the brown wood to the left, and then it'll ricochet down that really tiny narrow path. And that may be probably the ways that it'll get you a lot closer to the hole, but significantly riskier, because then you have a big potential to miss. That's only a width of one of the blocks wide, so that's really risky. So one of the things that he's gonna go, so I'm probably gonna call this just the heart, because it looks like a heart in the hole in the floor, and that'll generally give you a pretty decent spot to the hole. Once people start getting more familiar, then you're gonna try to probably get it within 1 yard from the hole. I think that would probably be reasonable. But yeah, I'm definitely excited about these maps and the potentials. I've seen 1 or 2 other videos out there of people posting some of these, and some of these maps get quite ridiculous, I'm telling you. And you're going to have to learn some really advanced features. I think it's definitely going to help us out in the long run, because some of the other maps have those features. But I'll definitely start covering them when these maps come out. I'll start from the 1 power clubs and then work my way up as I get other powers. I'll focus on the different legendary balls that I have right now as well. But for now, that's what we got, and I look forward to when these are released and making some videos and laughing. So I may just kind of do like a raw series showing me just kind of messing around, trying to learn how to get some of the shots if you're interested. But that's to be seen in the future when these launch. So I'm excited. I'll see you this weekend for my next uploaded video, which is going to go over my favorite premium clubs. But for now, see ya.